Hello everyone, this is Daughter Darkness, and today I'm going to be talking about the trailer that just released yesterday for Tokyo Game Show for Kingdom Hearts HD 2.8 Final Chapter Prologue. That game is a big mouthful and I don't think I'm ever going to get used to saying it. But yeah, they released a new trailer with a bit of new information at TGS, and time to talk about it. So first there's the elephant in the room, the release date. The thing which a lot of people were looking forward to seeing and then ended up being disappointed by the fact that the release date is no longer December 2016, it is now for Japan the 12th of January 2017, while the rest of the world gets it 12 days later on the 24th. It's a 4-week delay. Nomura said that the original plan date had been the 16th of December, but it was pushed back into 2017 because of marketing reasons, effectively. They didn't want to have a too dense a kind of schedule. They wanted to push 2.8 back so that Final Fantasy 15 had a bit more breathing room and they could spread out their content a bit more. You know, it's 4 weeks pushed into 2017, but I don't think it's really a big deal. 4 weeks is not that much. It's a sensible business decision. And one thing that people seem to be misinformed about, they think that when Nomura said he wanted to help Final Fantasy 15, they were thinking that him and the Kingdom Hearts developers are helping Final Fantasy 15 to be made. This is not the case. I don't think, at least. I think he just meant helping as in, we're not going to try to compete with it, so then both games can do better, presumably. And then the time difference between Japan and the rest of the world, it's 12 days, and people are complaining that this isn't the worldwide release date that they promised, even though they never actually promised a worldwide release date. They said it would be releasing everywhere in December, but Nomura said quickly after that Japan would probably be getting it a little bit before, just within the same month. And that hasn't changed. It was always same month, different date. The only thing that's changed is the month in question. It's releasing in January 2017 worldwide. It's just releasing in Japan 12 days earlier. I'm assuming this is because of, like shipping and paperwork and all that kind of stuff that you've got to go to release a game internationally, that you don't really have to go through as much to release it domestically. And yeah, I'm pretty much happy with this. I think the way it was done before, where the game would be made in Japanese and then they'd make the English version, so there'd be months difference, I'm perfectly happy to wait 12 days and stay away from the internet to avoid spoilers or whatever. And then there's the other thing, which people are saying that will 2.8 now releasing in 2017 affect Kingdom Hearts 3's release date? And the answer is a resounding no. I'm not saying that Kingdom Hearts 3 is going to release in 2017. I don't know that it will or not. It could release next year, it could release the year after. But 2.8 releasing 1 month later does not affect the release date of Kingdom Hearts 3 at all. If the game is done by the end of 2017, the fact that 2.8 released 11 months rather than 12 months previously is not going to factor into their decision. They are not limited to releasing one game in 1 year. For example, in 2013 they released both Kingdom Hearts Key and Kingdom Hearts 1.5. I'm not saying that it will release next year, but if it doesn't, 2.8 is definitely not the reason why. So that's all the release stuff talked about, so now into the kind of meat of everything, the trailer itself. And the trailer started off with CG visuals, which have presumably been taken from the opening of 0.2. You get to see the child versions of Sora, Riku and Kairi playing on Destiny Islands together, which of course takes place after Birth by Sleep, at least a year after, because Kairi is on Radiant Garden until she's taken away a year after and goes to Destiny Island. And then you see Aqua falling towards Sora's dive to the heart. Some people might have tried to work this as some big connection, but I don't think it really means anything. It's just an opening sequence for one thing. I think it's just a visual thing that shows Aqua's connection generally to Sora, but you never know. And also there was a new remix of Simple and Clean in the English version and Hikari in the Japanese version, and Nomura has said that this remix will be part of the opening of 0.2. And later on we also get a couple more CG shots, which presumably as well are from the 0.2 opening, where we see Aqua with Ven and Terra, and then they change into Ventus, Vanitas and Terranaut. And again, I don't think this is for anything more than visuals. I don't think we're going to be fighting either of those. because Ventus Vanitas doesn't exist anymore, and Terranaut, like, is in the realm of light. Yeah, I think they're just for visual reasons. But then we go on to Dream Drop Distance, and it's Dream Drop Distance in HD. As always before, there's not really that much to say. The only point of note really is the drop gauge. The drop gauge is absent from all of the shots of the gameplay. The HUD there generally you see Sora and the command deck. Some people are using this to speculate that the drop gauge is gone, but I don't think that's the case. I think the drop gauge was such an important part of the way that Dream Drop Distance's story progressed. I don't think they could get rid of it. All of the scenes are in combat, so I'm wondering if they might just make it deplete when you're in the field, but then disappear and not go down at all while you're in combat, because that was one of the problems, that if you're in combat and you drop, then you come back and you have to start the fight again. It is also possible that this is specifically for trailer purposes, that perhaps they used the build for the game that didn't have the drop gauge as part of it because it made it easier to record, because they didn't have to worry about dropping constantly while they were trying to record the specific bits that Nomura wanted them to put for the trailer. As I've said before, I wouldn't want the drop system to go. It's generally unpopular, but I think it was a good thing. It's flawed, but I still think it's the best way of handling two stories on balance. That is all to be said for Dream Drop Distance. As it is, it's an HD remaster that it's HD and it looks nice and it's Dream Drop Distance, and that's pretty much it. So on to the more important parts, and start with 0.2. So the first shot we see is Aqua finding Ventus in the casket that Snow White was in Dwarf Woodlands, and I think this is just a little bit like the Terror thing in the Castle of Dreams. I think it's just another illusion, bearing in mind that Aqua knows that Ven is sleeping, and she also saw Snow White in the casket. She was the one who saw Snow White in the casket when she visited Dwarf Woodlands. And even at that time she had a flashback when Snow White woke up of Ventus first waking up when he first came to the Land of Departure. So I think it's just that connection. I don't think it's anything bigger than that. I think it's just another illusion, her mind playing tricks on her or whatever. On the point of the Dwarf Woodlands, this is the first time we see the Realm of Darkness version of Dwarf Woodland, with jewels and the like sort of floating around. Like with the Castle of Dreams, I think they've done a really good job of showing this world in its corrupted, dark state. It's a nice visual representation of this world corrupted by darkness. And on the point of visuals, 0.2 I think looks better than anything else we've seen in Kingdom Hearts so far. Like, the visuals look so good for this game now. I think graphically there's no reason for anyone to worry about Kingdom Hearts anymore. I didn't think there was anyway. I think they knew what they were doing. But the art style is sort of becoming almost complete now, and I think it is really becoming something quite special. And then Aqua fights an illusion version of herself in the Magic Mirror room, and yeah, this is a reference to the Magic Mirror fight from Birth by Sleep. We're in a kind of similar room, a mirror chamber, and then you go into sort of a weird sort of realm of the mirror kind of thing, and there's loads of different versions, presumably only one of which is real. And it's also nice to see that when Aqua hits the illusion Aqua, she actually staggers, she actually gets hurt, and physically you can see her reaction to the hit. It's not like many Birth by Sleep bosses where they either don't really react at all, they just stand there and take it, or like Vanitas, for example, they just disappear randomly when you're halfway into your combo and attack. So it's nice to see that they're going for more the sort of way that a game would work better with particularly human-sized bosses, is with, you know, them actually reacting to being whacked in the head with a key. And on the subject of being whacked in the head with a key, the combos and attacks that Aqua does really do look a lot more hard-hitting than those of hers in Birth by Sleep, as well as being a lot faster. And this is really good, because I don't mind the way it is in Birth by Sleep so much, but really Kingdom Hearts 2 just nails that feeling of attacking. And this, it's fast and it's strong, but it's still Aqua. It's not quite as good, I guess, as Kingdom Hearts 2, but I wouldn't expect it to be because she's not Sora. If you apply what they're doing here with Aqua to Sora, then you get those beautiful really satisfying combos that we saw in Kingdom Hearts 2, and that is what I want to see in Kingdom Hearts 3, so that should be a very good sign for everyone. We also see a bit of magic, and what happens is Aqua uses Blizzard twice, or Blizzaga twice, and then she gets the option to use a more powerful Blizzagun. This sort of works like how she activated Spellweaver, and presumably it is a more powerful Blizzard attack. And this, I guess, could be the way that 0.2 does sort of blend Birth by Sleep and Kingdom Hearts 2, because Kingdom Hearts 2 had magic built into your combos. So where you do a 3-hit combo, you could do, say, 3 Blizzards, and the third one would be a slower but more powerful Blizzard finisher. So maybe this is the way they do that. Instead of giving you different commands where you get, Blizzaga and then Deep Freeze or whatever, instead you get this option to activate this more powerful Blizzard attack, and I think that could be an interesting thing to do, mixing the styles of Kingdom Hearts 3 and Birth by Sleep and giving you a lot more options in battle. But then we see Aqua in a room with some pillars and stuff, and she hits one of the pillars and the room turns upside down. Sort of reminds me of Monstro from Dream Drop Distance a little bit, and I think this could be an interesting sort of gimmick to add to the world, but I sort of hope we don't have to fight stuff, because fighting stuff while you're upside down is not very fun. If I was to guess where it is, I would say it's the Realm of Darkness equivalent of the vault area of the Queen's Castle from Dwarf Woodlands from Birth by Sleep, but with this sort of puzzly nature, it kind of looks like that kind of thing. It also reminds me a little bit of Maleficent's castle from Enchanted Dominion, so potentially we could be in that world as well. Enchanted Dominion being one of those worlds that I'm pretty sure is going to be in 0.2. And finally we get to see Aqua falling in the darkness and presumably resigned to her fate, and then Mickey appears and sort of helps her. Finally we get to see this meeting between Mickey and Aqua that has been sort of teased ever since we realised that they were in the Realm of Darkness at the same time. And then later on we see a load of Darkseid sort of contributing to this massive firestorm thing in the middle, which sort of reminds me of the storm that Sora sees at the start of Kingdom Hearts 1, but I don't know what specifically it is. Either way, that's it for 0.2. So now on to Back Cover, the third part, the movie of this collection. And I will say now as a warning, there's a reason I've done this one last, because I will be freely talking about Kingdom Hearts Key and Kingdom Hearts Key's story. So if you don't know Kingdom Hearts Key's story and don't want to know yet, then I would suggest that you turn off the video right now. So you have been warned. First, we see Ira talking to the Master of Masters, who's skeptical about Ira's belief that they could actually save the world. This seems to be part of their conversation from the E3 trailer, with the no, it's not possible to prevent the war. The Master of Masters believes that the war is inevitable, or at the very least he wants everyone else to believe that he believes the war is inevitable, so he doesn't want them to try to stop it. And the 7 people that the Master of Masters refers to presumably means him, Luxu, and the Foretellers. But some people say it could also refer to the Guardians of Light, of course, of which there are 7, who people like the Master of Masters and Xehanort later on believe are destined to fail. Darkness will prevail and the light expire and all of that kind of stuff. And then we see Aced, and he's trying to ally with Ava and a third person who he doesn't specifically say, but I'm going to go out and call it that it is Gula who he is talking about, Leopardus, because he's always seemed kind of antagonistic towards Ira, and later on we see him fighting Invi. Plus, Ava and Gula are said to be friends, so it would make sense that if Aced wants to ally with people, it would be those two. And Ava says no because alliances are forbidden, and this is a conflict we've seen a lot in Back Cover so far. A conflict between what they think is right and what the Master tells them. Aced is going with the former. He wants to do what he thinks is right. From the last trailer, we need to defy the Master's teachings. And presumably Ava and Gula ultimately decline, which is why by the end of Kingdom Hearts Key, we see him very much talking about how all 4 other foretellers have caused this problem and he's going to try and solve it himself and lead the future of the world and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I guess that the people he asks are going to decline him. Meanwhile, Gula says that he can't trust anyone, which is a bit like how he seems at the end of Key, where he kind of feels a sense of doom that there's no point, everyone else has betrayed him, everything is over effectively. It looks also to be a similar area to where he watched Ava and Kirithi sort of leave sometime in the night. Perhaps he finds out about the dandelions, and this could be something that sort of pushes him over the edge of realizing that he can't trust anyone, even a friend like Ava. Ased confronts Gula, and this was possibly to ask him to ally with him, and Gula repeated his whole pessimistic, I can't trust anyone, I'm the only person on the world who is trustworthy, whatever thing, and Ased is very aggressive about it. He's always been the one who hasn't been happy with this idea of the traitor. He hasn't been happy with something that's tearing them apart. We saw in the last trailer he responded aggressively to Ira, accusing someone possibly of being a traitor, and maybe now he is getting aggressive because he hates the fact that there's a traitor who he doesn't know, and he doesn't want all of them to fall apart because of it. And this could lead into the fight that we see in the previous trailer where Ased eventually defeats Gula. Ava is angry with Envy, saying that she is making the situation worse. Again, it's difficult to know what she's referring to. The only thing I can think of is that she fought Ased, and she was actually the one who provoked that fight, and she's trying to put him in his place or whatever, and Ava thinks that she's causing more harm than good. And then the final scene of back cover we see is the Master of Master talking to Luxu. The first time we've seen the two hooded figures of Key together in one room. This was the full confirmation that there are two of them going around. They are two different people, which we kind of knew anyway. There's the Master of Masters and there's Luxu. And the Master of Masters is giving Luxu some kind of briefing. He's skimming through what's presumably the Book of Prophecies, and then he closes it, telling Luxu that it's his turn now. His job to finish the Master's mission, because the Master's got to go. Luxu is now holding Xehanort's Keyblade, which I'm going to guess belonged to the Master before. Remember that secret ending of Recoded, where young Xehanort says that Master Xehanort's Keyblade is the most ancient Keyblade of all of them? I'm assuming this is what he's referring to. It was the Keyblade of the Master of Masters, and he has now passed it down to Luxu so he could continue the Master's work. This is probably going to be the last time we see the Master of Masters, certainly in back cover, as he is known to have disappeared during the events of Key that we've already seen from the player's perspective. Luxu, however, is different. He only says one line, but I found myself really warming to his character, and I have no idea why. Just from this one line, he seems to be genuinely concerned about the other foretellers. He wants to know what's going to happen to them if the Master's mission comes to fruition. This is very different from what he was like in Key, where he seems very serious and very focused on his goal and on completing the Master's mission. So something is going to happen that's going to change his attitude, and it'll be interesting to see that. So yeah, that's the trailer. I wasn't expecting the trailer to be this good, but it really was outstanding. It was such a well put together trailer, and it does make me a lot more excited for Kingdom Hearts 2.8. So that's my thoughts on the TGS 2016 trailer for Kingdom Hearts HD 2.8 Final Chapter Prologue. What did you think about it? Is there stuff you liked? Is there stuff you didn't like? Please tell me your thoughts in the comment section below the video. And while you're down there, please like this video if you did. And if you liked it, check out my other videos and subscribe to this channel. And as always, thank you for watching.